Hello, welcome to the greenhouse. I am working on transplanting some flowers into 4-backs. I'm working on coleus. They're a really popular flower. And I just did some butter crunch lettuce and one of Anita's favorite, collard greens. And that would be a nice recipe for you to share.
Yeah, I like to make collard greens.
But let me wipe my hands off because I'm going to take the camera from Anita and show you what she's going to do today.
I am doing some container gardening today. These are some herbs that I grabbed from the back of the greenhouse earlier. This is thyme, basil, eucalyptus, which we've never grown here at the farm before. This is our first time, and some dill.
It's our first time growing eucalyptus.
She is so corny. And for those of you who say sometimes she sounds like she's acting, this is her real life. So I went to Target and I saw these pots and I thought these were so cool. What could I do with them? So I realized that these pots that we have in the greenhouse fit exactly inside. So
I skipped it. I was going to say right on target, but
you're right on target.
Yeah,
I get it.
They fit.
So I figured this way, if you wanted to change them out, you could change them out and just pull the pot back out and put something else in. Here at the greenhouse, we grow in these 6-inch pots for most of our herbs and our flowers, and they can stay in this pot forever. Like they can live the whole summer right in this size pot. I'm just going to wipe the pot off a little bit here. You can transplant it into the ground. You can transplant it into a larger pot, but it'll live fine in this size pot. So I have an orange one. I'll stick one in an orange pot. And I'll stick one in another gray pot. I'll put the thyme in here. And I'll put this dill in this orange pot. Then I found this really cool looking tray. I thought, well, that's really neat. So I was just gonna line them all up in here. Let me see. Can't do it all. And then these were some garden stakes I found. It comes with a piece of chalk and you can write right on there. But I'm going to leave it in the package and let her have the fun of naming all of her stuff. I'll put greenhouse tags in these so she knows which are which. So then I could just take this like that. And there's a little gift for my friend. I'll set it up here. Maybe a little later I'll wrap it up. Maybe we'll give her a farm t-shirt. The other thing I wanted to do today is I wanted to plant some container gardening. A lot of people have told us on the comments that you wish you could have a farm. So I'm going to try to show you how you can bring the farm down to a little bit of land for your location. So if you live in the city or you live in a house where you can't have a lot of land, you know, to cut up. I had this pot left over from last year. It was out on my deck. I think I had been given something in it, like a shrub of some sort. Anyway, I thought it's a pretty cool looking pot, so I'm going to fill it up with dirt. And we're going to plant tomatoes right in this pot. Now this is the same soil that we use here in the greenhouse for all of our plantings. It's a sun grow mix, but you could just get whatever potting soil you want to get from the store. Any place right now. Like I said, I was in Target earlier. They had potting soil. I was at Lowe's earlier today. They had potting soil. Just any nice grade. Don't buy the really cheap topsoil one because that's real dense. You need something that's really light so that the plant can live well in it. So let's go in the back of the greenhouse. We'll grab some tomatoes for it. Now these are some big beefs and some Ruckers, which is the New Jersey tomato, but for my pots, I want to use some grape tomatoes because my kids like to pick them off right there on the deck. These particular grape tomatoes, some of them grew really tall and some of them stayed really small. So I'm going to pull 2 of these bigger ones out to give the other ones time to grow. I might have to redo that whole tray so that the bigger ones all can come out and give the little guys time to grow. If you look over here, you can give this on camera, Nance. These are actually blooming already, which means pretty soon there'll be little tiny tomatoes on there. Whenever you have a tomato that's this, what we call lanky, it means like it's very top heavy. You want to go and plant it a little deeper. Normally, when you get a tomato plant, you want to just plant that root ball You can actually see it's starting to have little roots coming out on the stem. You want to cover that. But because this one is so long and lanky, I'm going to do a little extra with it. I'm going to take all these leaves off that are on the bottom. I'm going to take them all the way off to this nice break here where the bigger leaves start to pop out. And then I'm going to dig way down in my pot and put him in there, going all the way down to where that break was. Now what will happen is all that little hairy part that I showed you that looked like it was going to become a root will actually take root and help hold this guy in. I'm getting just a little more dirt here. So there you go. Now he's gonna get a little top heavy and fall over. So while I was out, I did stop at Lowe's, as I mentioned earlier, and I grabbed some tomato cages. These are what you call a tomato cage. Tomato cages come in many different sizes. This is a 33-inch tomato cage. And basically all you do is open the bottom and slide the bottom down the edge of your pot. When you slide it down, make sure you're pulling your tomato up into the pot. Now she'll just grow up right in that pot right there. I have that other pot on hand from the previous year. This is just a pot that I bought something in. I do believe it might have been, I bought a boxwood tree, bush, and from a big nursery, and I had this big pot. So I thought, well, why not go ahead and try to use this pot? But it's kind of ugly. So I thought, well, how can I do it? So I had been spray painting some furniture up by my pool. It was like that resin furniture, and it kind of got old looking. So I was using this Rust-Oleum also bonds to plastic one. It has to say also bonds to plastic because I did it without the also bonds to plastic, and trust me, it doesn't bond to plastic. So I thought, well, I'm going to try to spray paint this pot to match the stuff that I have up there at the pool deck. So I've already washed this pot. We wash anything that we're going to reuse in the greenhouse. We wash in 50% water to bleach solution, and we soak it in there about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm just going to give this a spray paint. This is all done. It's all dried off now. Looks pretty good. So what I've got over here, this is some soil that we're composting. It's all of the stuff that when we are seeding that we didn't need. When we pull the little plug out, sometimes there's a leftover soil. We've been composting in here and leaving it to kind of dry out, but in the weather we've had, it's not drying out so much. So let me fill the pot with this. Again, I've removed all the leaves from that biggest break down. Make a nice deep hole, get them way down in there, and just surround him with the soil. This is nice and damp. He'll be a happy tomato plant. And again, 33-inch tomato cage. All right, and there we go. And I can put that right on by my deck there. We can pick off little tomatoes all summer. Farmies, I'm in the Herman greenhouse. Nancy wants me to paint these benches, so I thought I'd get a start on that today. She went in the house with her daughter, and the boys are in the house doing homework, so I thought while I had a minute, I'd come and get started. So the benches look like this. They're like really tables, like for displays. So I was pretty lucky because this one popped right apart. The top off down here on the floor. I put it on a piece of plastic so that I don't mess up the floor here. Not that the floor here is that great, but you know, keep it good. I want to just scrub it really well. I find the best paint jobs I ever do are the ones where I have prepped really well. So I want to get any dirt off, any loose paint, any old paint that was on there, which in this gray area is going to be hard. So I'm using just a regular scrub brush. Around the farm here, when I have a brush in the house, and it kind of starts to get a little ratty, it downgrades to an outside scrub brush, and that's what this one does. The handle broke off, so now this is my outside scrub brush. And I got a new one here. Let me just go over it with a rag. I think this is an old Philly shirt. Not that I'm dissing the Phillies. My husband had Philly shirt, and I think the shirt, he wore it so much that it wore out. And that's the only reason it's a rag now. So it's all nice and clean. I'm going to grab the spray paint and we'll start painting. I think this has kind of been like spray paint Wednesday or Thursday. What is today? Because I spray painted earlier. Now I'm spray painting now. Let that dry. So I'm just going to sand it down a little bit. So I want to get all the dirt off before I start that job. I just got all the dirt off of it with a brush. Just a regular scrub brush. Now I have one of these sanding discs. This is actually called a dual grit block. It has different textures on it. And I'm just going to go ahead and give it a rough sand. Somebody just asked me today on a comment how I keep my nails so nice. Well, they don't hold up very long. They were nice the last couple weeks, and now they're kind of going. But I'll get them done on Tuesday. Every other Tuesday I usually go. I just kind of like to have nice nails, especially when you're selling food. Kind of looks nicer to have nice nails. Some people just don't understand when you're working outside. You just can't have nice nails, but when I'm working up at the farmers markets, I try to keep them nice. Just scraping off some of that. It was like a sticky resin under there. Just gonna get that all scraped off here. Prep this table to be stained. Okay, now that I have it all sanded off, I'm just going to wipe it down with a rag and get any loose sawdust off of here that I noticed earlier, but the feet on this are pretty dirty. So I'm going to give them a good rubbing down here. Just get that loose dirt off. And then I'll get the spray paint. Let's see if I can do it without, I didn't bring any tape to tape it off. Maybe I better remove that. Do is hold the wood on the wood part that I don't want spray painted. Got to use your noodle, right? Bottom's dry before I can start staining the top. This one looks really good. Just for a comparison, this is what it looked like this one, and it came out like that one. Pretty good, I think. This is the table that I couldn't get apart. I tried to take it apart thinking that I could just take these big bolts off, but no, it's like these little tiny screws, and there are 30 of them on this table. So what I did is I stuck some plastic underneath of it, and I'm going to try to spray paint right through it, hoping that I don't get too much on the floor in here. So I think it's going to work out pretty well. As you can see, just light strokes up and down. And it worked out well putting the plastic underneath because I don't really have much going on the floor in here. I think Steve would have a fit if I got it all over the greenhouse wall. So I think I'm going to turn the table so that you can see me get it done on the other side. Get the black paint on the wood. So I'm going to hold this piece of cardboard over the wood to protect the wood while I spray paint the black metal. Let's say a prayer that this works. Now, I'm going to apologize right now because I know the camera's shaky because it's sitting on my knee. We're back here in the Herman greenhouse. Everything's dried overnight. The tabletops look really fabulous, if I do say so myself. Today I'm going to start staining the legs. So I have it up this way on its side to make it easier for me. Yesterday we sanded all this that I had at the house. You should go to when you go to the hardware store, choose whatever stain you like. This is the one that's been used. My house is I show you the way I do things. There's probably 15 different ways this can be done. This is the way my stepdad showed me. He was really, really good with working with wood. And when we were younger, this is how he taught us. So he would say to dip a nice cotton rag in, you know what works really best? If you have an old baby diaper. This is actually an old t-shirt. So dip your rag in and get it absorbed. And use this rag like it's your paintbrush. And stroke it on with the grain of the wood. Just up and down, real nice. Rubbing it into the wood. The wood is like absorbing it in. This wood's pretty weathered, so it's dry. So it's kind of like sucking it up. Sucking that oil-based stain right into the wood. And again, if that's something that's going to bother you, this oil-based stain is going to probably be on my fingers for several days. If that's something that's going to bother you, you should probably go ahead and wear gloves. The wood is really absorbing this stain. It's like sucking it in like when you're thirsty on a hot summer day. Oh, there's the pigs. Hey Nick, if you have a minute, could you help me? Oh, you guys are catching the chickens? Yeah. What are you guys doing? Uh-oh, the little chickens got out. Look, Mike's really coming along on that pen there. I think Chickie knows it's her spot. Look at her sitting there waiting. Like, let me in my pen. Show me your little chickie that you have in your hand. Me. It's okay. You're okay. You got it. Hold it gentle. Good job. Oh, Charlie's got one. I didn't know you were here. I just asked Nick to help me pick that table up.
It's like elevators.
Yeah, there you go.
I put them over here since it was so cold. There's another one right behind the hay inside.
I got the table done. I need to stand it up and put the top back on it. But I called Nick in because this thing was so heavy to take off. He's going to help me put it back on. Do you need help or can you get it by yourself?
I think I got it.
Okay. It's nice to have a guy come in at the farm that can lift and get all my stuff done for me. Just set it up on top there. Does it fit right in?
I hope so.
There we go. That looks a lot better. It's a little dirty now from his pants because he was working in the strawberry field, and his hands are even dirtier.
Nice.
So we'll wipe the table all painted nice and stained. All the flat plants in here that have to be put up. We got the other two painted up. It'll look nice in here before long. And the last table. So I still have a couple more to paint out here. This guy needs a little repair work done. There's Steve, he's fixing these ones. I got one painted and one that he's fixing. And we'll show you the whole finished product probably tomorrow. You want Charlie to help you? Mm-hmm. They haven't fallen off yet.
Here's Frankie. Oh, all right.
Tray of herbs into the house that we set up out in the greenhouse, and I thought I'd wrap it up. I thought that would be cute to give it to my friend wrapped up. So I bought this clear plastic wrap. I got it at the craft store. I got it at AC Moore. I'm sure like Michael's, any of those kind of craft stores would have it. I've even seen it in like the Hallmark, like the the card store where the stationery is. So I'm just gonna figure out how big of a piece I need. Grab my scissors. I wanted to have like a nice tall tail at the top so that I can make it look like a fresh Easter basket or something. So let's cut through here. And she loves my farm, so I grabbed one of our farm t-shirts. I'm going to put that in here for her. Set it across the front. Maybe I'll do it this way. And I have one of our McCann's Farmers Market bags. Set that maybe right here in the center. Stand it up nice. And I have bought her these little garden stakes. I think I showed you these when we were doing the herbs. So I'll set them in here too. It'll kind of help sturdy that bag and hold it up. And maybe I guess back there's the best spot for it. And maybe up here. Right, so this is my front, so I'm going to put it where it's not going to have a seam. I'm going to pull it up nice and tight. Gather it together. And I'll put some green ribbon on it because everything around the farm is always green. A nice shoestring bow. Trim that down. This is the ribbon with the wire in it. It's got a little wire down the side. So I like to, once I've cut it, bend the wire down so no one gets stuck with it. I guess you don't have to, it's just, I don't know, safety first kind of thing, you know? So just bend that wire down, push the fabric back, bend the wire, and then you can play with it and make it look pretty. I like to take a little Scotch tape and tape the sides in. Just makes it look a little more finished. And there we go. A herb gift basket. Thanks for coming to the McCann's Farm today. Please be sure to like us and leave comments so we can see what you like. And be sure to subscribe. See you next time.